My name is Jessica, and at 23 years old, I never imagined my own parents would force me to choose between my basketball scholarship and their idea of family priorities. The knee surgery I desperately needed was my only chance to keep competing at Arizona State University. But they counted it without a second thought. Why? Because my younger sister wanted that fancy trip to California beaches, soaking up the sun while I was left in agony. Just lie there. Your sister deserves fun, Mom said, her voice casual like she was discussing dinner plans. The pain shot through me like ice, freezing every hope I had for my season. But that betrayal lit a fire inside me. Little did they know, their decision would unravel everything they thought they controlled. I pushed through the darkness, found my way back stronger, and watched as their perfect plan backfired in ways they never saw coming. They ended up panicking over lost thousands, scrambling to fix the mess they'd created. And once I recovered, there was no turning back, no apologies, no reconciliation. If you've ever felt discarded by the people who should protect you most, this story will hit hard. Stick around to see how one selfish choice destroyed more than they bargained for. What is the worst decision you have ever witnessed in your family, and how did it change things? I would love to know and hear about it. Looking back, the roots of this mess trace to my father's sudden death. Kenneth Quinn, my dad and a civil engineer who built half the bridges in Phoenix, died in a car accident when I was 12. Sabrina was 8 then, and she looked just like him. Same curly hair, same dimples. Mom, Brenda Quinn, a high school teacher who'd always been practical, changed overnight. She started treating Sabrina like a fragile keepsake, while I became the background noise. Your sister needs extra love. She's the spitting image of your father? Mom would say whenever I questioned it. That marked the beginning of the favoritism that would poison everything. By my 15th birthday, the divide was clear. Sabrina got a brand new laptop worth first $200, complete with all the latest software for her creative projects. I unwrapped a 30 basketball jersey from the discount bin. Em needs it for school to learn like Dad did. Mom explained, her eyes on Sabrina's excited face. I forced a smile, but inside it burned. My birthday cake sat uneaten as they fussed over her unboxing the gadget. That day I realized gifts weren't just things, they were statements of worth. The real kicker came with college tuition. Mom flat out refused to contribute to my applications. We can't afford both of you chasing dreams, she said during dinner one night, pushing the forms back across the table. Sabrina, meanwhile, had her dance classes and mall trips fully funded. I spent nights practicing shots in our driveway under the Arizona stars, determined to earn my way out. Through sheer grit, I landed a full athletic scholarship at Arizona State University for basketball. It wasn't luck, it was my escape plan. Understanding Mom's motive hit me gradually. Sabrina embodied Dad's memory, the part Mom clung to after the accident. I was just the reminder of what was left behind, the one expected to fend for myself. That insight fueled me. Basketball became my weapon, my ticket away from a home where I always came second. Before the injury, I'd climbed to top 5 on the Arizona State team. Michelle Dunn, my mentor and a former pro player who'd scouted me, saw real potential. You've got the fire they can't teach, she told me after a big win. Her belief kept me pushing. Even as the family cracks widened, 30 minutes ticked by in that sterile room. I lay there alone, the knee throbbing like a live wire, every breath sending fresh waves through my leg. Dr. Heron Wade stood nearby, shifting uncomfortably, his usual confidence replaced by hesitation. Without family consent for the costs, we're stuck, he muttered, glancing at the chart. I couldn't wait for them to change their minds. Grabbing my phone, I made 3 calls in the next 15 minutes, my voice steady despite the haze. First to Derek Sloan, my coach at Arizona State. I need you to arrange a secret surgery, no word to my family, I said, explaining the basics without details. He paused, then agreed. I'll pull strings with the athletic department. We'll cover what we can quietly. Next, Byron Tate, the equipment sponsor who'd backed our team before. Can you front $3,000 for the procedure? I'll repay through work once I'm back? I'd ask, my tone urgent but controlled. He didn't hesitate. Done. Send the invoice details. Consider it an investment in your comeback. Finally, Paula Rivera, my closest friend and roommate. Block all contact from Mom and Sabrina on my behalf. Absolute radio silence, I instructed. She sucked in a breath. You got it. I'll handle any messages that slip through. Wade overheard the conversations, his expression shifting to resolve. He nodded firmly. I'll schedule it for 3 days from now. Complete discretion. No records to family. As the calls ended, a plan crystallized beyond just fixing my knee. This wasn't about recovery alone. It was about severing ties so they'd crumble under their own weight. No more chasing their approval. I'd let their choices bury them. Rel Dunn arrived shortly after, having heard from Derek. She listened as I laid out the betrayal, her face hardening. "You're doing right. They don't deserve you," she said, gripping my hand. With that, I signed the surgical consent forms, my signature sharp and final, fueled by a cold determination that drowned out the pain. 2 weeks later, the surgery was done. I woke up in the recovery room, groggy but relieved. The sharp pain in my knee dulled to a steady ache. Derek Sloan, my coach, sat in a chair nearby, flipping through a playbook. "It went well," he said, giving a quick nod. Paula Rivera took the night shift, bringing me water and cracking quiet jokes to keep my spirits up. No one from my family was contacted. Not a single call or text sent their way. I'd blocked their numbers before going under. Every contact erased from my phone. Social media was next. Mom and Sabrina's profiles vanished from my feeds with a few swift clicks. I wanted no trace of them reaching me. Meanwhile, they were in California. Oblivious to my surgery, Sabrina's Instagram lit up with beach selfies, her caption boasting "best trip ever." "Mom is the best." Mom posted a photo of them sipping cocktails by the ocean, all smiles, completely unaware I'd just gone through a major procedure. Their post stung, but I scrolled past, focusing on the bandages wrapping my leg. Physical therapy started that same week. Rel Dunn guiding me through the first grueling steps. Every movement burned, but I pushed through, gripping the bars for balance. "One day at a time," Michelle said, her voice steady as she adjusted my brace. I nodded, sweat beading on my forehead, determined to rebuild what they'd tried to take. Paula checked my phone daily for missed calls. "Your mom tried 7 times today," she reported, her tone flat. "Sabrina sent a text asking if you're okayed." I shook my head. "Don't respond, not a word." My voice was ice. And Paula understood, deleting the messages without another question. 3 months passed since the surgery. I sat in the Arizona State Athletic office, legs still braced, but stronger, meeting Mara Finch, the scholarship coordinator. "Your medical waiver needs approval to keep funding," she explained. Flipping through my file, I laid out my case, the injury, the surgery, my commitment to return. She nodded thoughtfully. "I'll push for you, but we need the director's sign-off." That afternoon, I met Stuart Hale, the athletic director, in his cluttered office. "Your record speaks for itself," he said, scanning my stats. "We'll secure 70% of your scholarship through a hardship clause." Relief washed over me. School was safe for now. Physical therapy ramped up, each session pushing my limits. Michelle Dunn adjusted my exercises, her eyes sharp as I gritted through leg presses. "You're gaining ground," she said, checking my range of motion. The pain lingered, but I could walk without crutches. A small victory that kept me focused. Back in Phoenix, Mom and Sabrina returned from their California trip, expecting me at home. Paula forwarded their voicemails, Mom's voice sharp, demanding where I was. Sabrina's confused, asking why I wasn't answering. They'd found the house empty, my room untouched. "They showed up at our dorm," Paula told me over coffee, her brow furrowed. "Your mom was frantic, banging on the door." I shook my head. "Let them stew. Don't say a word." Their calls grew desperate, but I stayed firm, instructing Paula to block every attempt. Mom tried texting from a new number, pleading for a response. Sabrina sent a DM claiming she just wanted to check in. I deleted both without replying. My focus locked on recovery and school. Their absence during my surgery had drawn a line I wouldn't cross again. 6 months into recovery, their world started cracking. Mom and Sabrina planned a second trip, this time to a luxury resort near Sedona, Arizona. Chasing more Instagram moments, Sabrina's posts showed them packing, her captions gushing about spa days and desert sunsets. But a rare desert storm hit. Fierce winds and flash floods shutting down roads and canceling their bookings. They lost $2,000 in non-refunded deposits. Stranded in a cheap motel for 3 nights, Sabrina's next post was a blurry shot of a flooded parking lot. Captioned, "This trip is cursed." Back in Phoenix, Mom faced worse. Her school district launched an audit after noticing irregularities in her expense reports. She'd been funneling petty cash for Sabrina's trips, labeling them as educational supplies. The board didn't buy it. Within a week, she was suspended without pay, facing potential termination. Paula overheard whispers at a local coffee shop. Mom was scrambling to hire a lawyer. Her savings drained by legal fees and the lost deposits. Their panic grew. Sabrina tried reaching me through a mutual friend's phone. Her voice shaky in a voicemail. "Valerie, we're in trouble. Can you call back?" Mom sent an email. Subject line, "Please talk to us." Claiming they just wanted to know I was safe. I didn't want to know I was safe. Forwarding it to Paula with a single word, "delete." My own path stayed steady. Physical therapy pushed me harder, my knee bending further each week. Michelle Dunn checked my progress, nodding as I completed a set of squats without wincing. Derek Sloan started discussing my return to light training. Their chaos didn't touch me. I was building something they couldn't break. 9 months after the surgery, I stood stronger. Physical therapy had paid off. My knee could handle full squats without a twinge. Rel Dunn clapped as I finished a session, her smile wide. "You're ready for more?" she said, handing me a new training plan. Derek Sloan invited me to join the Arizona State coaching staff part-time, assisting with the women's basketball team. "Your grit's an inspiration," he told me during a meeting in his office. I accepted, relishing the chance to guide younger athletes. My scholarship secure through the waiver Marla Finch and Stuart Hale had fought for. Mom and Sabrina's attempts to reach me didn't stop, but I held firm. Their numbers stayed blocked, their emails audited by a filter Paula set up. I caught wind of their unraveling through a teammate's gossip at practice. Mom's suspension turned permanent. She lost her teaching job after the audit confirmed misuse of funds. Bills piled up, forcing her to take a low-paying retail job to cover debts from their failed trips. Sabrina, meanwhile, dropped out of community college, unable to afford tuition without Mom's income. She had burned bridges with friends, her social media now silent. No more beached selfies or gushing captions. One evening, Paula showed me a text from a mutual acquaintance. "Your mom's asking around campus, begging for your contact," she said, shaking her head. I didn't flinch. They made their choice, I replied, my voice steady. Ignoring their pleas felt like reclaiming my own space, a boundary carved in stone. My focus stayed on coaching, each day shaping a future they'd never touch. A year after the surgery, I'd built a new life. Byron Tate offered me an internship with his sports management company, focusing on athlete recovery programs. I dove in designing workshops based on my own journey, balancing the work with a part-time master's in sports psychology at Arizona State. Rochelle Dunn mentored me through applications. Her advice sharp and practical. "You're turning pain into purpose," she said during a late-night study session. My days filled with coaching drills and graduate classes, each step cementing a future I'd carved alone. Mom and Sabrina's collapse reached its peak. A former neighbor texted Paula, mentioning Mom had sold their Phoenix house to settle debts from legal battles and failed trips. She'd moved into a small apartment, working double shifts at a retail chain to stay afloat. Sabrina, cut off from Mom's support, drifted between low-end jobs, her social circle gone. Her last Instagram post, months old, showed a bare apartment, captioned with a single sad emoji. Their attempts to contact me had stopped. My silence was final. I reflected on the lesson one evening, sitting with Paula over takeout. "Family isn't just blood," I said, my voice calm but firm. "It's who shows up when you're breaking." She nodded, squeezing my hand. Derek Sloan, Byron Rel. They'd become my anchor, proving loyalty outweighs obligation. Their betrayal had pushed me to find strength. I didn't know I had to set boundaries that protected my worth. In America, where self-reliance is everything, I'd learned to stand tall without those who